Let's now bring NUM KwaZulu-Natal Regional Secretary Muzikayise Zakwe, who joins us now for more. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. Extortion in the construction sector has reached worryingly high levels. And of course, we know that it delays, it derails projects worth billions of rands. But there seems to be no end and no signs of end to this trend. Could it be reversed? How will it be reversed? What is your take on this development?
Very much concerned about these developments because these developments are hindering progress in terms of the project that are actually in place. That is why when we had a discussion earlier on, we indicated that we would like to see government taking decisive action against the element of criminality in order to prevent this hijacking of this project, because it is affecting our members to an extent that they end up not getting paid. Because we all know that here in South Africa, if you haven't done your work, the principle of no work, no pay will apply. So that is why we are saying the government must take decisive action to deal with this element.
You speak about how it affects workers under the NUM. How have they detailed their stories around this? Because, of course, coming face to face with the impact, what have they had to say?
You mean workers?
Yes.
Well, workers are complaining that while they are busy working, they will be stopped and they'll be told to come together and they'll be addressed by people that they don't know who they are. And they will tell them that they are the ones who are actually in charge of the project. And they will tell them that they must stop working until they tell them to continue working. And on the other side, you will find that they are actually engaging with the companies, the construction companies, in terms of getting whatever that they want. And in other instances, you will find that some workers will end up being employed through subcontractors. And we know that majority of workers at this moment, they are employed through subcontractors. And that kind of employment is not assisting our workers, our members in particular in this industry, because when workers are employed through subcontract, they end up losing some of the gains that we've made as a union in terms of the agreement that is currently in place. So that is why we are saying the government needs to intervene as soon as the government can actually do something on this matter.
What kind of intervention do you think is needed on this scale? Because we know that some construction companies are saying that they do eventually give in. They pay off the extortionists for uninterrupted business. But of course, that's only a short-term solution.
Well, the first thing that we think should be done is for the government, even if it's a provincial government, calls in for a provincial construction indaba. You call all the stakeholders where you will allow them to actually voice their concerns, if they do have concerns, and you allow them to make submission in terms of how this industry can be transformed. Because from time to time when you hear them talking, their main issue, they are saying this industry is not transformed. This industry is only catered for big companies. It's not catering for small scale construction companies. Now, if the government can actually have a construction endeavor at a provincial level, we are convinced that those that have an interest in the construction sector will come up and table their concerns, and the government then must respond to those concerns. Because if the government is not calling this indaba, the government will rely on arresting those who are sabotaging the construction work. But we don't think that arresting them would be a solution. But a solution would be to call this construction indaba, call all stakeholders, organized labor, government, and business, as well as those who have got interest. Then we are convinced that the outcome of that conversation might actually give us long-lasting solutions to the problem that we are currently experiencing.
Do you think stressing the illegality of subcontracting without following a bidding and tender process would also serve as an effective means to ensuring that there is some sort of regulation and understanding that it's a crime?
Well, what we can say is that if the government is issuing a tender, and if the tender has been awarded, give it to the main contractor company. Also identify potential small-scale construction companies that will be employing people through subcontracting. By so doing, you'll be able to make sure that the compliance is taken care of. Because at the moment, it looks like the government will issue a tender and award a tender to a main construction company. Then those that end up getting this subcontracting work, they get it maybe after a month or 3 months, and the process of giving that subcontracting process to small construction company is not properly awarded. As a result, you would find that the element of non-compliance is experienced when the construction work is continuing. So that is why we are saying if the process would be open from the time the tender is being issued, from the time the tender is being awarded to a particular company, but it must also include who will be subcontracting to that particular tender. That process must be open so that whoever that gets this subcontracting is complying with all the laws and regulation in the construction industry.
Yeah. What do we know, very lastly, before we let you go, about the nature of some of these syndicates? I mean, we're learning that they are highly organized, looking at the way in which highly connected individuals are coming in, some of them linked to legitimate businesses. What do you think is important for police to look at as for law enforcement, as they try to react to some of these crimes being reported? Because very much and more than ever, they're very slow to react to some of the complaints that are put forward.
Well, as the National Union of Mine Workers, our understanding is that the police service is well trained to deal with all the criminality elements in the society. And we are of the view that there is nothing that can prevent them from conducting proper investigation to check where does this kind of syndicates come from. And by so doing, we are of the view that they'll be able to reach a point where they identify them and deal with them according to the laws of this country.
Very well. Thank you so much for weighing in on this conversation. NUM KwaZulu-Natal Regional Secretary Muzikayise Zakwe.